it gives you a degree of freedom. And it also gives you a degree of power.
We all need to wake up to who George Soros is and how big his organization is.
You have to be pretty dumb to think that the way to bring people around to your point of view is to make them late to pick up their kids from daycare. And that's what most normies are thinking. I have a kid. I have a job, and yes, I'm sure there are injustices on both sides in the Middle East, as there are injustices all over the world, but I'm going to be late for work.
Yes, I have a couple of videos I'm going to play so you will see exactly what is going on. According to this tweet, Nancy Pelosi blames Putin after confronted on woke activists abandoning Democrat Party. That is not all. When you go on this article, Anti-Israel Protests nationwide fuel by left-wing groups backed by Soro, dark money.
And people should know this, and especially try to say this to all the people in front of my house in the middle of the night and the rest. The president has been advocating for humanitarian assistance to the Palestinians. The Republicans in the House of Representatives have held it up. And yet, to hear these people go out there and say, oh, genocide, Joe, all that, not to repeat what they say, but nonetheless, he's the one who's been advocating for it. The House of Representatives has held that up, as you know. But I don't know if they're progressives outside my house. I don't even know who they are outside my house. But in terms...
Protesting his handling of the war, yeah.
Yeah, but I know my protesters. You know, I've represented my district a long time. I got the biggest vote of any Democrat in California. They said, oh, you're not reflecting your district. No, I got the biggest vote of any Democrat in California. Some of these people are, I don't know who they are. Some are the usual suspects, but largely they are, I don't know what they are. But nonetheless, what is their agenda? Some of it is spontaneous, sincere and real and organic. Some of it, I make a distinction between AstroTurf and grassroots, and some of it is AstroTurf. So who benefits from it? Donald Trump. Who benefits from Donald Trump? Putin. There's, in my view, a connection there.
Yes, it is always annoying when I see this with Democrats.
Investors and the hecklers are saying about Joe Biden, the label genocide Joe. Could that could support for Israel cost Democrats the election this fall?
Well, it's interesting to me that you use that term, because that's what we see at 3 o'clock in the morning outside of our house, flashing as long as this room, a sign that says that. And he has been, as I say, the force for humanitarian assistance to him. He now is calling for the ceasefire. Who's resisting the ceasefire at this point is Hamas. Remember, Hamas is a terrorist organization in our view. Hamas has in its charter the destruction of the state of Israel. So this is more complicated. In terms of your question about the election, it's in Putin's interest for, to win. And therefore, I see some encouragement on the part of the Russians of some of what's going on. I trust the sincerity of many of the demonstrators. It's organic, it's spontaneous, it's real. But some of it, I think, has a Russian tinge to it. In terms of the election, people have to decide. Do you want to save the planet? Doesn't. Do you want to save your personal liberties, women's right to choose, LGBTQ? Do you want to protect the children from gun violence? Do you want to protect our Constitution, our democracy? That's really what's on the ballot, in addition to those two names. So we just have to win. As I say, it's democracy is at stake. In my view, civilization as we know it today is at stake in that election, should the other side prevail. It's going to be an interesting time. We made a decision to win, and we'll make every decision in favor of winning, which means message-wise, mobilization on the ground, and money-wise in order to make that happen.
And finally, new rule. Someone needs to tell the people who block traffic in the name of a cause, no one likes you. And you're probably hurting your cause. In case you haven't seen what's going on lately, activists for ending the war in Gaza have taken to gathering on roads and bridges and stopping commuters from crossing. It happened last week in New York, and San Francisco, Chicago, Seattle. They also blocked traffic here on the 405, but no one noticed. What they did notice was this, that you have to be pretty dumb to think that the way to bring people around to your point of view is to make them late to pick up their kids from daycare. And that's what most normies are thinking. I have a kid. I have a job. And yes, I'm sure there are injustices on both sides in the Middle East, as there are injustices all over the world. But I'm going to be late for work, something you protesters on the bridge seem to have the luxury of not having to worry about, which seems kind of privilegey. You can glue your hands to the street because your hands don't have to do any work today.
When I look at this video where Nancy Pelosi was confronted, they are actually in support of what is happening. Now, she lacked answers to what is happening. The only thing is to blame Putin, then turn it and link to Trump. That is their best thing they usually do. Now going to George Soros. When you look into this article, progressive anti-Israel agitators across the country, including those who mobilize at New York City, Columbia University, are associated with groups tied to far-left groups with radical association backed by dark money and liberal mega donor George Soros, National Students for Justice in Palestine, a national organization affiliated with around 200 independent chapters, has had a vocal presence at Columbia University in recent days. At one point said it had walked away from talks with schools leaders until administrator pledged not to have them arrested or forcefully removed from their encampment on the Ivy League institution Westland. NSGP operates under Worcester Peace Action Committee Foundations, a fiscal sponsor whom Fox News Digital previously reported received a six-figure donation from a non-profit bankrolled by the George Soros Network, and they are now making it clear we should understand exactly what George Soros is doing. Like, he is funding all these protests happening in the country. This is something I never knew of. I'm shocked to see it is even trending everywhere on social media. I thought it is important I bring this to your attention so you can see exactly what is happening. Please, there is one thing. When you see a drop of video, I always plead, share the video. It is important. If you notice, the past few days, people are sharing out the videos, the engagement is increasing.